Hello, everybody. So, as many of you know, you've seen my video on the train derailment in Ohio in East Palastine. There was, I don't know exactly how many cars derailed. I mean, I do, but I don't want to say and get the number wrong. But I know there was 50 cars affected, and I know 5 of them were carrying deadly chemicals that are fatal if breathed in. And they're saying the EPA, the governor's saying the EPA's there testing and everybody needs to just rely on them and that everybody's going to be fine. It's safe. Go back to your house. Everything's fine. After being evacuated for almost 2 weeks and then returning home, people are having health issues and are being scared to shower. They can't drink their water. And so they finally get brave enough to shower, and now they're breaking out in rashes as they're being told that the water is safe and everything's fine. It's clearly not. And there's some people with concerns about their newborn babies coming home, babies that they already have that are home. It's really sad, and it's a huge mess. And I think that we're all being lied to. I think that they're not doing the right tests or something. There's something going on that's not right here, and it's not okay. And people are being displaced out of their homes, that there's going to be a lot of people that probably can't afford this. And they don't want to take a check from Norfolk Southern because they want to sue them. They want to probably do the right thing and get what they're owed out of this, plus some, because of the displacement from their home and all the pain and suffering that it's caused them. So let's see what News Nation has to say.
FEMA is now sending a team to East Palastine, Ohio, and this comes more than 2 weeks after the train derailment threatened the small town. Governor Mike DeWine came under criticism for not requesting federal aid sooner, and then his office criticized FEMA over allegations FEMA was not stepping up to help.
It should have not taken this long for FEMA to come in. This is just from yesterday or today, 12 hours ago. So this just came out last night. FEMA's finally stepping in after they rejected giving checks because it's not a national or a natural disaster.
Meantime, there are new reports that former President Trump will be visiting East Palastine on Wednesday. Trump is expected to meet with community members.
So what about man-made disasters?
And now word that Erin Brockovich will also be in East Palastine for a town hall meeting. News Nation was the first.
She's drawing a lot of attention to this case, Erin Brockovich. I am so glad she stepped in. Thank you, Erin Brockovich.
Network to speak with her after the disaster. The conditions are so bad that one woman who News Nation has been in contact.
Look at that rash that this woman got from taking a shower in that water. And they're being told the water is safe.
Contact with has rashes on her body after showering.
And she's not the only one, and there's dogs and other animals with chemical burns.
Get to News Nation's Rich McHugh live on the ground in East Palestine, and when she spoke with a couple.
Palestine. I think it's technically pronounced Palestine.
Who's already having some negative health effects.
Hey, good evening, Natasha. That's right. So the first news is that the CEO of Norfolk Southern was here today, finally after 2 weeks, showed up, met with officials in this church behind me, closed door meetings, was escorted in and out.
It took 2 weeks for the officials from Norfolk Southern to show up. What is up with that?
By police, but was overheard telling someone he is here.
Why don't they want to talk?
Support the people.
Do you think day one they would have been on the news talking, apologizing at least?
People just don't buy it. For instance, they say that the threat, the health. Closed door meetings, was escorted in and out by police, but was overheard telling someone he is here in support. The people we were speaking to just don't buy it. For instance, they say that the threat, the health threat, is real here, real time. One woman, one couple we spoke to, went back to their house. We interviewed them earlier in the week. They went back to their house today for 30 minutes and had some crazy health effects. Take a look.
They went back to their house for only 30 minutes and had crazy health effects. Imagine the people that were not evacuated, that were right on the edge of that line or even within a mile of that line. For how bad it sounds like it is. Sounds like you could be pretty close, but not as close as the people that were evacuated and still be living there this whole time and breathing this in and having your eyes burning and having a rash when you shower. I'm not okay with this, you guys. There was something seriously wrong here. There is some kind of cover up that's going to be trying to be going on. I bet you anything. They're going to try and do what they can to cover their butts because this is a way bigger deal than they're making it out to be.
So we were in the kennel this morning, picking up some supplies. We left. I went home to take it to, home. I went back to the place where we were being evacuated.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is the same woman that was talking about the agreements they had. They were going around trying to make people sign agreements. Norfolk Southern was. And she was like, I'm not signing that. And good for her. I wouldn't have signed it either. And she tried to get a copy of it and they wouldn't let her have a copy of it. They were like, no, you can't have a copy of it. And she's like, okay, well, I'm taking a picture of it. And she took a picture of it and showed it to the news. And then Norfolk Southern turned around and was like, oh, that was an accident. We gave you the wrong agreement. Oops, sorry. Like, what's up with that? And they're going around giving people $1,000 checks. Don't take those checks.
Ellen Schwartzwelder and her boyfriend Chris, after being evacuated, came back home today. But she says she broke out in a
You can get way more than $1,000 if you don't take those checks.
rash almost instantly.
I undressed to get into the shower, and I had a rash all over the side of my face, on both sides, and all over my chest.
Take a look at these photos of her this morning after coming back.
Look at that, you guys. And you know it looks worse in person. And you know when you get a rash, sometimes you can hardly even see something on your body and it can itch so bad or it can burn or sting. But when it's like that visible, you know that's got to hurt and be uncomfortable.
Back on her property. The rash all over her face, neck, and chest.
My boyfriend Chris also had a rash down his left side. And I mean, to this moment right now, I have just a really low-grade constant headache.
They live
Everybody's talking about having a headache
nearly a mile
and burning eyes. They live nearly
from the derailment, where
a mile.
Norfolk Southern released
They live nearly a mile from the derailment.
the toxins into the air 2 weeks ago. But their issues clearly persist. But with FEMA finally coming and with all the focus directed at East Palastine, these folks say they're forgotten because they live just over the state line in Pennsylvania.
That's messed up. It shouldn't matter what state you're in. It's right on the state line. Why should it matter what state you're in? I'm lucky because I am directly west of this, like just a little bit west of this, but directly west. And obviously the weather system moves east. So I'm really, really lucky for that. And the people that live in Pennsylvania are the ones that should be worried.
Yeah.
It feels like nobody gives a damn beyond us.
They too were forced to evacuate.
And what if we couldn't afford to do any of this?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. What about the people that can't afford it?
My wife is 37 weeks pregnant this Friday, and she's going to be induced. And it's all a little scary because we can't drink the water, unable to get our water tested because we're not a priority as of now.
Why are they not a priority? Every one of them should be a priority. Anybody within a mile radius, whether it be in Ohio or Pennsylvania.
So, don't know what my...
Did you guys see on the map? There was a satellite map of the plume of smoke, and it's already going over Niagara Falls in New York, and people are freaking out. They were not warned of it coming their way, and they're really mad.
Born son is going to come home to.
John and Julie Kent fear the future of their horse sanctuary could be in jeopardy.
There was flames roughly a couple hundred feet into the sky. There was a black smoke cloud, and it was going over the horses. I would say that it was probably like no more than 10 feet above their head.
Wow. Oh, those poor horses. And they don't have anywhere to evacuate to go. Nobody's taking them anywhere.
Photos, you can see the toxic smoke flowing over their horses. They
That's so sad, you guys.
worry if they'll survive.
The horses and myself and anybody that was here really in this general vicinity was exposed.
And while the governor of Ohio and others have said repeatedly the air and water is safe, it's clear that some of the toxins have taken hold. A couple miles outside of town, this is Leslie Run. I've heard this.
Okay, this is Leslie Run. I've heard there was a lot of bad stuff going on in Leslie Run.
This is happening. I didn't quite believe it, but watch this. So when you stick this stick in the water, all the chemicals come
And
to the
dead
surface
fish.
in like rainbows. It's quite alarming. News Nation has asked Norfolk
It's hard to see it on a camera, but I know what he means.
Southern CEO for an interview repeatedly, and we've sent a producer to their headquarters with no luck. How does this whole experience feel for you?
That money matters more than humanity.
They're more worried about getting the railroad open than they are about taking care of the people that it's affected and the animals. And they haven't even come out and said anything about all these animals that have died and perished in this.
Truly.
Now, the police presence here has already stepped up just in the past 24 hours. FEMA is apparently going to be here tomorrow. Trump is coming midweek. So clearly things are ratcheting up. Natasha, back to you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't
News Nation. Residents break out in rash after Ohio train derailment. This was posted 12 hours ago on February 18th.
and the EPA has tried to reassure.
This one is also from News Nation. It's titled Aaron Brockovich, If You Feel Unsafe, Leave. This was 10 hours ago.
Assure the public that any immediate danger has passed. However, residents continue to express worry, fear, and anger over the safety of their land, the air, and the water.
All those
Nearly
dead
30
fish. All those dead fish.
500 fish have died since this nightmare began. Consumer
Not to mention like turtles and stuff like that they don't even know about yet.
advocate Aaron Brockovich joining us live tonight. Aaron, a friend of the show, welcome back. It is good to see you.
Hi, Natasha. It's nice to see you.
And Aaron, you and I were in person last week. News Nation, the first network to speak with you about this disaster, as you were getting those hundreds of messages from residents who were afraid, who were concerned. What are those residents telling you now?
They are more concerned and more frustrated now than they were in the beginning because there's such an inconsistent messaging coming to them, whether it be from Norfolk Railroad or their state EPA or their state representatives or the federal US EPA. At this point, they don't know who to believe. And at this point, I don't think they're trusting anybody.
I'm not trusting any of them, and I don't know who to believe either.
They're so concerned. They feel like nobody's listening to them.
Yeah, of course they feel like nobody's listening to them because nobody is listening to them because they're more worried about getting that damn rail yard open than they are about actually fixing the problem because they know it's going to cost them millions of dollars if they really wanted to fix this the right way and do the right thing. And they have millions of dollars. They're the freaking rail yard, the railroad. They have like the most money in the freaking world besides the gas lords.
We may know a lot, but there's more we don't know that will still continue to unfold. And these people in this community are almost a pawn in between some political.
Looks like an atomic bomb went off.
Agency corporate scenario.
Officials even said we basically nuked a town to get a railroad open. I keep saying rail yard because the town where I'm from is like extremely rural, and there's a huge rail yard that got built. Like by the time I already done was grown. But when I was a kid, it wasn't there. It was just all country. And then by the time I was an adult, there was this huge rail yard they just built. I remember them building it because my oldest was a newborn at the time. And they were building this rail yard, and it was so freaking loud. And it really boomed the town. Like, it brought a lot of money to that little tiny country place.
And they're just left there to fend for themselves at this point.
Erin, do you trust the EPA and the all clear that they gave?
No, I might be the wrong person to ask about that. I've been doing this for 30 years, so I've seen too many things that have slipped by or too many loopholes. But
So in that case, then you're just the perfect person to ask about this.
I don't know how anyone can trust them when, A, they're awful late to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
There was just a real quiet moment on February 3rd when the train derailment happened to February 6th when they lit it on fire, which, by the way, they dug a hole and put all the chemicals into that hole and lit it on fire. So two things happened at that moment. A, we have a toxic cloud full of chemicals that has fallen out a great distance. We still don't know what that exact distance is.
And I don't think they evacuated out far enough, clearly.
And you've
Or for long enough.
now contaminated the groundwater. And there's so much that has to be done, Natasha, before we're going to get true answers. We still don't see the raw data. We need to begin remediation. We have to set up monitors for where this groundwater plume will or won't move. We need to talk about soil vapor intrusion.
Look, it's just a fish, right? It's just a fish. A lot of vegetarians even eat fish. But it's still life, a living thing that's now dead and ceases to live and ceases to exist because of this train crashing. That's devastating. They've made such a loss of life, whether it be a fish, a horse, a dog, a cat, whatever it is. Yeah, it might not be humans, but it's still loss of life. That's still very grim and serious.
There's a lot that has to come into play, and here they are, almost 3 weeks now.
The symbolism of that is just disgusting.
Starting to get
They care so much about money and getting that dang railroad open.
them some FEMA help, and we still really don't have a lot of answers.
Did officials let the residents go back to their homes too soon?
You know, there was a letter that came out from the US EPA to Norfolk Southern Railroad, excuse me.
She does it too. I'm not the only one.
That was stating it was known, yes, known, that vinyl chloride, other chemicals were released. But the sentence goes on to say, and those chemicals continue to be released into the air, into the soil, and into the water. That, I'm not sure why, again, not seeing.
They continually are being released into the air, soil, and water, and they're saying that it's safe and it's not detected in it.
They're wrong.
How is it not detected? How is it safe levels?
Data, what's your detection limit? What are you finding? What are you looking for? That gives you a real warm, fuzzy feeling that it's safe to return if it's ongoing.
And Erin, I want to watch this short clip with
They should not have let anybody return yet, in my opinion.
you quickly. This is News Nation's Rich McHugh.
They should be paying for people to be displaced from their homes and giving them everything that they need and treating it like the disaster that it is.
Showing what looks like a clear creek called Leslie Run, and we can actually start running this now. But watch him rake that stick through it, and you can see sort of these rainbows rise to the surface here. What do you see with your experience when you look at this video?
Well, there's a lot of things that could be going on there. One, we have to remember in this huge black cloud,
It's just like oil coming to the surface.
there's going to be dioxin. So this soot, if you will, is going to fall out into the creeks, onto the rooftops, onto the cars, get in the attic dust, get in the household dust. It's going to be everywhere. Some of that could be that sediment that settled at the bottom. Some of it could be from the fallout of the VOCs. So without having a test, it appears that these things that have fallen out, a variety of chemicals, land on the water and then can settle to the bottom. And so all of it's very concerning to these communities, and it should be.
It should be very concerning. It's concerning to me, and I'm a couple hours west of this.
It's very concerning to the health and welfare of them.
I'm concerned for all those people that are there, all those children and babies,
And their children,
all their animals.
They're very concerned for the future. They don't know what any of this means, and it's very concerning.
Well, they said they basically nuked the town, so what's that tell you?
To the entire ecosystem. And listen, this could be something,
right, concerning to the entire ecosystem.
Situation where Norfolk Southern Railroad made a bad situation 100 times worse that this community and the ecosystem could see the fallout of for decades.
Yep.
And Rich also in his report speaking with a woman who is developing those rashes after showering. Now, Governor Mike DeWine and the EPA says the water is drinkable, the air is safe.
Obviously it's not, and they're not doing the right tests.
Who should residents believe here? What should they be doing?
My first and foremost concern is these people. And in the absence of any other information, they are the very ones living there, breathing the air, exposed to the soils, and experiencing these symptoms.
Are any of you guys in chat from this region, like within a few mile radius of this region at all, or anywhere east of this?
They have got to rely on their instincts. I have seen this over and over.
You've got to go with your gut. If you don't feel like it's safe, go. Get out of there. And I'm just praying that you can afford it.
Over and over again, play itself out through the United States. And it's the one.
You know how many people there are that live in this rural area that don't have money?
Thing that nobody wants to listen to. What is happening to the people? They need to be their own citizen scientist, if you will. Nobody knows their health and their family better than they do. If you feel unsafe, leave. You need to wipe down the houses. You need to take protections. If you're not feeling well, go to the doctor. If you're evacuated and you don't want to come back, don't.
Yeah, and if you're not feeling well or you're developing these rashes, you should definitely go to the doctor like ASAP, because they might be able to tell you what exactly it's from, and you need that on record.
Really stay in tune to your instincts. You are the ones breathing it and living in this moment. You have to trust and stand with what it is you know you're experiencing.
Yes, exactly. So well said. Thank you, Aaron Brockovich.
Thank you for watching. Go to New.
Thank you. All right. My son's being crazy. I just wanted to give a little update on the Ohio train derailment in East Palastine. I know this was a short one. I'll be back later with a live for Summer Wells. I'm going to do another live on some news clips from News Nation for Summer. Summer Moon Utah Wells is still missing. 1-800-TBI find with any information. We all know that, and we're going to keep her name and face out there. And if you're around this Ohio train derailment, I'm praying for you. Truly, I am. All you people that are in East Palastine, in Pennsylvania, the people in New York that are dealing with the smoke plume, I'm praying for all of you. I hope that you get what you need and what you deserve, and that you have some blessings ahead. And after dealing with a disaster like this, you deserve that. And I'm very sorry for everybody that's not being heard and that you feel like nobody's listening to you. I am. I know that doesn't mean much to you, but I'm listening. And I think together we can all make enough noise to not let them just say that everything's okay, because it's obviously not. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I'll see you later on tonight. I'll be back. Well, it probably will be like whenever baby takes a nap, actually. I'll make like a little hour recording for Summer, and I hope that you guys will join me with that.